Happy Tuesday, Eagles Nation. Welcome to today's episode of the Weekly Chirp. Stephen Hellmann here alongside Tom Aresco, Views from the Link TV. And what a boring championship weekend.
Yeah.
That might have been the worst week.
This might be one of
AFC championship weekend I've ever seen.
This is one of the worst football seasons
This season.
in a while. The number one seed in the NFC was a complete fraud when it got to the playoffs. And I don't think they're a bad team, but I don't think they're one seed 13-3 good.
Yeah.
And all it took was, they played with fire a bunch during the season, getting in close games, and all it took was, powerful offense, quarterback really not fully even an offense. They were missing Jordy Nelson and able to air him out, so that they got them out of there real quick. Now the Atlanta Falcons, who are one of the softest teams of all time, are in the Super Bowl. I mean, who picked that at the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
No one. And I'm not hating on the Falcons. I kind of am, but they deserve to be in there. They played the best. They're really explosive offense, a lot of weapons, and that's what happens when you get weapons in town. You get around a good quarterback, and you can get they didn't really get hot, but they just they've been consistent the whole year in scoring points, and the Eagles actually held them to the least amount of points all season. That's 15, and that's awesome, but. It's not really so much a moral victory time, more time to look forward and see, what we can do going forward.
Yeah.
So,
and Howie Roseman and Joe Douglas were on WIP yesterday, Philly sports radio station. If you guys aren't from Philly, not familiar with it, but it's one of the two big sports networks. And they were just saying that, they're going to let Carson Wentz, they're going to get him weapons. They're not going to do the whole Donovan McNabb thing where it took too long to get T.O. They're going to get him some guys. They're going to give him some say and who he wants as well, because they're building this whole team around him.
Well, what does that mean to you?
What does that mean to me? I think they're gonna go get two veterans, wide receivers in free agency. Who I'm not sure.
They're gonna let Wentz decide. Kind of have.
I think they're gonna say like who he wants. Or who do you think?
What kind of receiver do you think Carson Wentz is looking for?
Definitely an Alshon guy you can bomb it up to. I think an Alshon or a Djax.
Yeah, I think a guy like
one guy.
I think you need a pure speed guy, someone like Deshaun Jackson or any of these number of guys out there, or you need a big possession guy such as a Brandon Marshall, a Kenny Britt, an Alshon Jeffrey who's 6'3", 6'4" height range, and you can just throw it up and they can catch the ball away from their body and away from defenders and make those catches in traffic and across the middle and things like that. Kind of like what you hoped for out of Dorial Green Beckham. He kind of showed some flashes. I was actually watching a lot of I was watching Carson Wentz highlights today, his every throw of every game, and DGB actually did have a couple nice plays over the season. There was a couple plays that he looked pretty impressive, but he needs to be a little more consistent. I think bringing in a receiver that's a veteran that have been doing it, such as a Kenny Britt, a Brandon Marshall, and Alshon Jeffrey, I think one of those guys would really help groom a guy like DGB.
I think it's Kenny Britt and Djax.
Yeah,
I think those are
you
two
can
guys.
Maybe fit those guys under the umbrella, and let's also talk a little bit about how the Eagles officially have confirmed that they've hired Mike Groh, the receiving coach, the wide receivers coach that came from the St. Louis Rams. He was a coach on the Chicago Bears, so he worked with Brandon Marshall, he worked with Alshon Jeffrey, he worked with Kenny Britt on the Rams.
Yeah.
He also worked with Brian Quick on the Rams, who's a very underrated, good free agent receiver. And I think Deshaun Jackson's just that hometown.
Yeah.
You bring him back, and if you can afford Britt and Jackson, those would be two nice pieces.
I think that's what they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna get Alshon. I think they're gonna get two guys.
If you get Alshon, you're probably eliminating the chance of getting two lower priced guys.
Exactly.
Which is
either Alshon and then you draft a guy, I guess, which isn't a bad route to go.
No, it's not.
But
I would like two brand new outside starting receivers, because Jordan Matthews is a lot better inside, working those smaller routes to the outside of the inside, and because he's not a vertical guy so much, and then Nelson Aguilar and Dorial Green Beckham, they're just going to have to fight for snaps because they're just not good enough to play in the NFL right now. I mean, they're good enough to play in the NFL, but on a consistent basis, they're not a team's number 1 and 2 receivers. They're just too young, too raw still, and hopefully they continue to develop behind them. And it's unfortunate how high of a pick Aguilar was, and he's more of a developmental guy. But I mean, that's what you have, and that's what you're gonna have to stick with. You don't need to put him on the field. You just need to have him on your team because it costs a little bit to cut him there. But I think getting 2 new outside receivers that have made a living on the outside their whole career and have been tough players and just veteran guys. I mean, look, the answer isn't really out there right now, but in the meantime, we need guys that can formidably play the position and really do a good job for the development of Carson Wentz.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think you get 2 veteran receivers in there. It's going to be such a huge upgrade over last year, regardless of who it is, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in the draft, you see, what's there when you pick. Dalvin Cook's on the board, maybe you get him, offensive lineman, cornerback, whatever.
Yeah, a lot of positions.
But I think receiver is the easiest void to fill through free agency.
Absolutely, because guys are on the move every year, and you see guys on new teams and everything like that. And as long as they have a quarterback that can get them the ball, they can run the routes and make the catches. I mean, the bottom line is that it's hard to transition a young receiver into the pro game. We've seen that. Yeah. So getting guys that are proven, that can beat cornerbacks, that can beat defensive backs, one-on-ones, get deep, make contested catches, make tough catches, score, get in the end zone. You need a couple guys that have that on their track record that you bring in, you can instantly upgrade your offense. Because we're talking about, I mean, if we had some guys that could do that this year, we're talking about maybe
playoffs.
We're talking about the playoffs potentially. Even though we hit that rough patch, we could have maybe pulled some of those games out.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think we could have. And you have no money invested in receivers right now. Everyone's on the rookie deal, so you might as well put a little money in there, fix that, and then in the draft you'll see what else you need. But not having to worry about receivers in the draft, I think, will be very helpful.
Until later,
maybe get a guy in the 3rd or 4th, depending. But hopefully, you fill the receivers, and then you have the running backs.
Yeah, you have the draft to kind of do what you really need to do, and that's groom and draft some of your own players and cornerbacks. That's a position that hasn't really worked out for us in free agency. Yeah. Running back isn't really something that you usually see teams doing to fill their running back need. And then offensive line is another position we need to get younger and deeper at. I think we had that process started with Isaac Sayamalu, Big V. But it still needs to continue because we still need to, plug some certain holes and figure out who's going to go where and things like that. So it's a process, but I think they're on the right track, and adding 2 veteran receivers, like Howie Roseman insinuated that they would at least add something in free agency. Yeah. I think that's the best way to go about this whole plan and process of rebuilding. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think it's a good time. You got to feel good about the quarterback going forward, and that's it, guys. We'll see you for Bird Buzz later in the week. Have a great rest of your weekend, and then we got Bird Buzz, and then Super Bowl, and then everyone's undefeated again, and I can't wait.
Yep, and the free agency will start sooner than you know, and then the draft in Philadelphia.
And then draft in
Philadelphia. Howie Roseman's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah. Got to make a splash in the draft. That's in your hometown. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.